Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. The subject for discussion today is very important, but not everybody will recognize its importance because you need to have an eagle vision to know why the subject is extremely important. It deals with survival of the Igbo people. When I talk about the Igbo people, I talk about all the descendants of the Israelites in general, and primarily those that still identify themselves as Igbos today. I am focusing on them because they are closest to what I am going to talk about this evening. The subject is about idolatry and its deleterious effects on the Igbo people. I repeat, the subject is about idolatry and its deleterious effects on the Igbo people. I will start the discussion by reading something that a brother and a friend, Anthony Odira, shared with me. He is an Nze. I mean Nze spelled N-Z apostrophe R. If we have time, I will tell us what is the difference between Nze and Nze as we knew it. I will go on to read. This text, I believe, was written by a former commissioner in Enugu State, Igbo na-ekwu Ogazimora. It is on the origin of Arụsị in Ala Igbo, that is in Igbo land. For the benefit of those who do not know the Igbo language, the contemporary Igbo believes that Arụsị in some dialects means other gods, small gods, false gods, in contradistinction to the supreme being that the Igbos know as Chi Ukwu. I will read, then I will bring in my explanations much later. Ogazimora proceeds. I think many of you missed the import of the post. Arụsị was introduced by fraudsters who started creating artifacts and other objects, just like the altar of God created for Romans and other Europeans. When those objects were introduced, they became a business. Dibias were now going from town to erect deities that never existed in the first place. Such dibias became spiritual merchants, just like you have these evangelists setting up shop at every corner in Africa. I would prefer Ogazimora to have said Igbo land, because by venturing into Africa, he's venturing into unknown territory, because the religion of the Igbos is different from the religion of other Africans. If you recall, not many of the powerful and destructive deities in Igbo land have lasted up to 200 years. He is saying that prior to 200 years, before 200 years ago, the only God known by the Igbos was Chi Ukwu, great God. Have lasted up to 200 years before colonialism. Many were brought by families who used them to capture what belonged to others. Many were used to scare others. Ibinu Okpabi, which was stolen from the Efik Ibibio, started gaining ground and soon were introduced by smart priests who established their branches called Igwekala of Umunoha, Ibobo of Iza, Abala of Oka, Omaliko of Abetete, Efulu Udoha of Ukehe, etc. None of this existed before, but we are introduced to intimidate people, steal their sons and daughters, classify people into Amadi, Ohu, and Osu. This will be of special interest to Diane, Dr. Yehonatan Elazadi Mota, Nze Dr. Chira Obiora, and I took time to explain to him that the Levites of the Igbos came from Uri. So you can see the criminal and mercantile elements in the introduction of Arose in Igbo land. Prior to this, the Igbo people ran on personalized god system, which was so well advanced, it promoted personal initiative, industry, perseverance, submission to active conscience, taking responsibility, family duty, obligation to others, and self, and above all, democracy. This is of great importance. Why is it of grave importance? The contemporary Igbo cannot accept that he was not a polytheist, that his culture, his very essence, rejects polytheism. The contemporary Igbo cannot afford, cannot see his present pitiable state, cannot link it to his conviction that he's a polytheist. He is so convinced that he's a polytheist that he has begun to behave like a polytheist. And I will bring out all cylinders now. I know some people will feel offended because they want to believe, they want to imagine, they want to conceive things that never existed. The Igbo is Israelite. The Israelite never thrives with idolatry. The Israelite never thrived with idolatry. The Israelite is destroyed by idolatry because his culture, the biblical culture of the Israelites, called in the Bible itself Omenana, destroyed idolatry thousands of years ago. So what is happening to the Igbo today is what would happen to somebody who survived on a particular diet for 2,000 years, and you wrench him away from that diet, give him something else, all sorts of illnesses creep up. I will repeat, what is happening to the Igbo people today can be likened to a person who survived on a diet of bitters for 2,000 years. One day, after 2,000 years of eating onubu and otaze, you wrench him away from onubu and otaze and feed him solely on processed sugar. The Igbo is not suited to idolatry because the Igbo people left idolatry, which was, by the way, something the entire humanity deviated into thousands of years ago. The Igbo people, as part of the people of Israel, left it over 5,000 years ago, left it with Abraham. So they are learning new things, and it is destroying them. It is stopping them from thinking well. It is stopping them from seeing clearly. That is why one of the most talented people in the world ended up crybabies in the country called Nigeria. They don't know how to play Nigeria. They don't know how to play the game. They don't know how to survive. And that is why they and us are in trouble. I want to call the bull what the bull is. That is why I'm coming out clearly. The Igbo has to lose the notion that anything like earth goddess existed. Achebe wrote about an earth goddess because Achebe was a 24-year-old convert to Christianity. So he did not understand what Omenana meant when Omenana talks about the land. but I will throw more light on it now. Every Igbo that is my age, those that are much younger than me, know that the Igbo people have an expression like anasoko. They know that the Igbo people have expressions like enuna and anukwonum. Unfortunately, Igbos are the most Christianized people in the world today, but they don't read the Bible. If they read the Bible, they would have seen Moses, the man of God, Moses, the son of Amram and Jochebed, the greatest prophet of Israel, the greatest human being that lived in this world, stating exactly what I just stated. Enuna and anukwonum, may heaven and earth hear my voice. Because the Igbos believe so strongly that the land will vomit them if they commit sins, because they were so afraid of doing evil things on the land, Achebe, as a 24-year-old Christian, created a goddess out of that land. And it entered things all apart, which was the only or the most successful book that came out of Igbo land, a book that every Igbo read. And today, the contemporary Igbo thinks that Achebe wrote what Achebe saw. Achebe did not see such a God. And the characters that Ogazimora mentioned did not waste time. They found clay, molded it together, and began to claim that this is Anna. For God's sake, Anna means land. Anna means land. Enu na Anna. Enu is the sky, the cloud, the heavens. Anna is land, ground, community. When one of the prominent musicians of the Igbo called Warrior said Alowere, he means the community of Owere. So, before I will conclude, I want to make a very important point. Ogazimora did a wonderful job of work by stating boldly that all these things the Igbo of today imagines to be deities came just 200 years ago. And I will add flesh to what he said. A lot of them came as mere charms and amulets. My friend from Obunike told me about how the Arobinago in his community was brought from a gala. It was not brought as a god, because the Igbos 300 years ago could not see a charm as a god. But his children, or their children in time, began to think that those charms were gods. And you find Achebe again and other writers of his era viewing those things as deities, but making it succinctly clear that the Igbos that brought them in did not see them as gods. It was Achebe that wrote that the Igbos burned gods. Where would people burn gods? Other peoples were afraid of kings, but the Igbos were not afraid of gods. What does this tell you? They have a relationship with the supreme being. They walked with him. They struggled with God. So, I'm stopping this video at this point with a warning to the Igbo people. If you like, continue deviating. Continue calling yourselves Igbo until you go into extinction. Call yourself the Israelite and begin to live like the Israelite and survive. Thank you. God bless you.